This is the community champion given a golden ticket by Harry and Meghan to see them marry, who then sold her free goodie bag on eBay for more than £21,000, Mail Online can reveal today. Claire Oliver, 31, was one of the 1,200 non-VIPs invited to spend the day outside St. George's Chapel on Saturday and given the enviable chance to see the newlyweds and their famous guests up close. Miss Oliver, who is from Cambridge but lives in southeast London, works in HR for Troop Bywaiters, an engineering group heavily involved in offering apprenticeships to get more young people in work, a cause close to Harry's heart. On the day of the wedding, she tweeted, "I got to watch the royal wedding right outside Windsor Castle in this amazing setting. Such an amazing day, golden ticket, royal connections," and filmed herself twirling with joy in the grounds. But hours later she had posted her free commemorative gift bag on eBay, which has now sold for £21,400. The canvas bags inscribed with the couple's initials contained a souvenir wedding order of service and welcome letter from Meghan and Harry. Other freebies included a bottle of Windsor Castle water, a giant chocolate coin, a tin of shortbread and a voucher for 20% off in the castle shop. Last night Mail Online spoke to Miss Oliver about her auction. She said she didn't want to discuss it, and she is among more than 25 other guests who offered their bags to the highest bidder. Some have reached more than £30,000, it emerged today, and eBay also has orders of service from Kate and William's wedding day, as well as cake from when Princess Diana married Prince Charles in 1981. The 1,200 community champion guests arrived at 9 a.m. to see 600 VIPs, including the Queen, Prince Philip and Prince Charles, as well as the Clooneys, the Beckhams, Elton John and Oprah Winfrey turn up for the A-list wedding of the decade. And as 120,000 well-wishers fought for space outside the castle, these privileged 1,200 were able to get great views of the newlyweds as they kissed outside the chapel and paraded past in the Royal Ascot Landau carriage. But within hours of the event finishing, dozens of their free Hessian gift bags were being auctioned off to the highest bidder. Many of the sellers had clearly planned to do it in advance because they photographed the items outside St. George's Chapel to ensure they looked genuine on eBay. And fierce bidding saw offers for bags reach 5 figures, but those trying to cash in have been heavily criticized. One seller said, "Buy a piece of history and memorabilia to celebrate a momentous special day for Britons in the royal family." Another, hoping to cash in on the international market, said, "I'm happy to send the gift bag internationally if you're happy to cover the postage." One later claimed they would donate the cash to charity, but had initially forgotten to mention it on their eBay posting. It also emerged that an eBay seller is auctioning off PDFs of the royal wedding order of service, and incredibly more than 10 people have bought them for a £5 each. This is despite the same thing being free to download via the royal family's website. The seller wrote, "Wondered what was in the order of service? This is a PDF version of the exact order of service. It will be sent direct to your email address once payment is received for you to view or print off to make your own copy." Inviting 1,200 guests to get close to them was all part of Meghan and Harry's most diverse and royal rule-breaking wedding ever seen. The newlyweds shared tears, laughter and a passionate kiss in front of their hundreds of VIP guests dominated by Hollywood stars including the Clooneys, the Beckhams, Idris Elba, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hardy and James Corden. Elton John, who sang at Princess Diana's funeral in 1997, performed at the lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen in a poignant nod to Harry's late mother. All the senior British royals were also there to support the couple including Her Majesty the Queen, Prince Philip, Harry's best man Prince William and his wife Kate, who brought George and Charlotte but left baby Louis with the nanny. Meghan is the first mixed-race member of the royal family in an extraordinary journey for a girl born-in-law to a white father and African-American mother who fought her way through the tough world of show busyness to land a plum role in the TV series Suits. Harry and Meghan's big day couldn't have been more different than royal weddings of the past, especially because the prince was visibly emotional throughout, and guests suggested it was the most diverse major event in the Queen's 66-year reign. The prince had looked tearful when he saw his bride for the first time, grabbing her hand telling her, "You look amazing, I missed you," before tenderly lifting her veil. The new Duke of Sussex also said thank you, Pa, after his father Prince Charles walked the now Duchess of Sussex down the aisle of St George's Chapel, Windsor, having stepped in at the last moment for Meghan's father Thomas. Meghan Markle told wedding guests, "I found my prince," in an emotional speech after her ecstatic new husband said the support of his far better half meant he could finally be me. It was revealed today. The new Duchess of Sussex also thanked the Queen, Prince Charles and other senior royals for welcoming her so warmly to the royal family firm. The bride, resplendent in a white evening gown by Stella McCartney, took to the microphone after a private evening dinner thrown by Prince Charles at Frogmore House. Meghan's short speech was yet another part of her modernizing mini-revolution of the royal family, because royal brides usually leave it to the groom to address guests. The 36-year-old, who wore an aquamarine ring which belonged to Harry's beloved mother Princess Diana, ended her short address by declaring her deep love for Harry and said, "I have found my prince," according to the Daily Mirror. Before she spoke, Harry said his wife, brother, father and friends are the people that make me in my Harry life, before adding, "Now I'm going to hand over to my far better half." Earlier he is also believed to have told his bride, "I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you." One source described how Meghan also expressed her gratitude at how welcoming the prince had been to both herself and her mother, Doria Ragland. She has been so touched by how welcoming the Prince of Wales has been. So is her mother, the source said. Honestly, they are touched beyond belief. It was important to her to make a point of thanking him publicly, although, of course, he knows privately how she feels. Another source said, "It is often said that he always wanted a daughter, and I think he has been really moved by how well they have got on. There is definitely a special connection there. Meghan's mother means more to her than anything, so it was lovely to see the way he was so welcoming to Doria too." Prince Charles had also paid tribute to his darling old Harry in an emotional speech that is said to have left the 600 guests, including Hollywood stars, in tears. Speaking at the afternoon reception at St George's Hall in Windsor Castle shortly after they married, Charles told of how moving it was to watch youngest son get married. Charles, who walked Meghan to the altar, finishing by saying, "My darling old Harry, I'm so happy for you." Harry, 33, is also said to have given an off-the-cuff speech about how happy he was. He is also said to have turned to his guests and asked, "Can anyone play the piano?" before Sir Elton John played a medley of your song, Tiny Dancer, Circle of Life, and I'm Still Standing. Harry also said Meghan had navigated everything with such grace, adding, "We make such a great team." According to the Sunday Times. Wedding guest Peter Vernhead, co-founder of African Parks, told the Sunday Telegraph, "When Harry and Meghan came in, they stood on the podium and Prince William introduced them. Prince Charles made a really gracious speech, it was amazingly endearing. He's got a wonderfully dry sense of humor." Prince Harry was charming about Meghan, "They are so clearly in love. We all had a tear in our eye." Later he whisked his bride away in an open-top Jaguar to head for a star-studded, champagne-fueled, black-tie reception for the bride and groom at the opulent Frogmore House in Windsor Great Park on Saturday night. The newlyweds were cheered wildly as they took to the floor with the funky soul classic Land of a Thousand Dances for their first dance at the spectacular royal wedding reception. Comedian James Corden is reported to have launched a dance routine with Harry, his brother William and his father Charles, apparently refereeing a dance-off, while George Clooney danced with both Meghan and Kate. After a very modern take on the traditional royal wedding, the late-night revelry followed suit, and those fortunate enough to bag a place on the ultra-exclusive guest list were treated to a night of risque speeches, wild dancing and plenty of stodge to soak up the alcohol. Exclusive details from inside the evening's celebrations revealed that guests, including George and Amal Clooney, Sir Elton John and David Furnish, and more glitzy actresses than an Oscars after-party, spent the evening sipping bespoke cocktails, tucking into dirty burgers and candifelas from outdoor stalls, and dancing to a trendy DJ. It was, insiders say, the party to end all parties, with a carnival atmosphere in the grounds of the 230-year-old stately home, which once belonged to George III. Record viewing figures made Harry and Meghan's wedding the TV event of the year so far. It was watched by a peak of 13.1 million just after 1 p.m. on BBC One, making it the biggest peak figure so far in 2018, the broadcaster said. ITV's coverage peaked at 3.6 million. The combined average audience for BBC and ITV was around 11 million. But this was lower than the figure for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's wedding in 2011, which had a combined audience of 17.6 million, although this included people watching on catch-up. Charles and Diana's wedding was watched by more than 28 million in 1981. Saturday's FA Cup final averaged 6.7 million viewers and peaked at 8.7 million on BBC One.